Hey everyone, Chris here again with CTC Productions. First video here is going to be about how to put in a piece of driftwood into one of your aquariums. Now, a lot of driftwood you purchase is already going to come screwed into a piece of slate. Okay, that is a great option. That's an easy way to do it. But sometimes you have wood that's a little too big to be able to screw into the slate, or the pieces just don't match up. There's not enough room for the screw to go in. The angles are off. So I was looking up a couple different ideas, and I've on some different boards and videos on YouTube. I haven't seen anybody try this, so I figured I'd post it up. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at how to secure the driftwood down to the bottom of your tank using suction cups, and how well that actually sticks. Okay, so there's different types of wood that you can buy from the stores. These are the pieces I like to get the most. These are a lot larger. It's more of a driftwood style. All your woods are. But these are a lot larger pieces. A lot of times these are a lot harder to be able to secure. Most of these types of woods are secured to slate or some type of hard center that you would be able to screw into the bottom, put in your tank, cover with your substrate, and go from there. Most of them will end up looking like that. That is one piece that came considered large, came on the slate. You can put it on yourself as well. You can screw them down. But with these pieces, not a whole lot of room to screw it into. Now, if we look at this, that's the way I want it laying down in my tank, is what you just saw. So that's a connection point. That's going to be touching the substrate right there. Now, if you notice, not much to screw into. Same with this location right here. Got a little bit maybe that we can push into, but not a whole lot. And then the other spot is right here. So, what do you do when you don't have that? Well, what we're going to test here is suction cups and see how that works. All right, for starters, I went up to Target. I went and found some of these suction cups. They came with the hooks. I don't really need the hooks, but the reason why I wanted them is because of that lip right there. That way I'll be able to secure the line around it and tie it down pretty snugly. A lot of these also can be found if you have some old heaters lying around. A lot of those have the same type of nub at the end of the suction cup. So those can be used as well. Now, looking at the strength of these, I know you can't see it, but I'm pulling up pretty hard and they are sticking very well to the countertop. So I have a feeling these are going to hold down the wood just fine. Okay, so now we have put our fishing line on our suction cups. Okay, so we got the lines. We've already tested the strength. It seems like it's going to be pretty strong. What I'm going to do now is I've found the locations of where I want to attach them. So pretty much at the same points of where we're going to be close to touching ground or our substrate. I'm going to attach one here, a larger one here. The larger one's going to go here due to the fact that we have a lot more floating wood to this side. Hopefully that will hold it down better. Obviously, one of our other attachment points was going to be back here, so we have that going to attach to this. Now, I did go ahead and make 4. Wife said I only needed 3, but I figured why not be safer than sorry. Now, since this is going to be to the back portion of the tank, you're not going to see it as much, so I'm going to go ahead and attach it to this portion right here. Now, this is going to leave the fishing line just a little bit longer. It is blue line. I primarily did that for this video so you can see the line. You can use clear line, you won't be able to see it, but once I put the plants and everything else in the tank, they're going to be gone as well. So let's go ahead and get these lines tied onto the wood. Okay, what I've done here is I've gone ahead and tied these on. As you can tell, it's tied on. When this thing lays down, it should have about an inch to the substrate from the suction cup on the glass up, which should cover that line. Got another one down here on this side. I got this one up here. Now this portion of the branch should be primarily covered by the sand substrate that I have, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem showing it like that. If not, and it does show, that's what plants are for. Now, I did say I was going to go with 4 on the other side. My wife said 3. I'm going with 3. Not because she told me to, but because it seemed like that might be enough to hold it down. So now that we have this ready, it's time to go into the tank and try settling this in. Okay, so now we have the piece and we're ready to get it in the water. One step I did forget to tell you guys to do, which I thought was common sense, it probably is, obviously cut off the remainder of the fishing line so you don't have excess just hanging around. Now this tank was recently, as of last night, half water change. I added sand substrate, removed a lot of the gravel that I did have. Okay, so the next step, what we're gonna do is when I sink this down, I'm gonna be moving away all the substrate from the one area where that suction cup is. So we will start the one over here. Airline out of the way. Again, we wanted this to sit exactly how I had it set up, so that's where it needs to be. Okay, well, at this point, I wasn't able to show you exactly how I got it down onto the glass. Should have, but first couple of videos, hey, I'm learning. I needed my wife's help on this for sure. I needed another hand. Doing this without the substrate or the sand on the bottom would be a lot easier. I didn't have that opportunity. So there was a little blank spot on this, but it was a pain to get to stick to the glass. Not because of the suction cups. They worked fine. It was the substrate and the sand getting in the way every single time I tried to stick it down, plus trying to fight with that piece of wood floating the whole time. So we'll get back to the video now. Okay, well, that is a two-person project, unless you have no substrate in your tank already, and or you have some rocks you can weigh down the piece of wood with, and everything such as. But if you can tell, I don't know if you can see it anymore, right in there is the blue. You can kind of see the blue right there in the middle of the screen, and there's Marmello, the flower horn, wanting to get in the way. And then if you come over here to this part is still suspended. Now, I mean, I'm going to add some more substrate to it. It's hard to see, but there you go, right there, the blue line as the Texas gets in the way. And of course. And then in the back you can't tell, but this took me about 20 minutes with the help of my wife to get in. I could have put some rocks on it and probably done it. Again, this would be a lot easier if you did not have substrate, sand, rock, anything in the bottom of your tank. Sand is going to make it even worse, as the sand particles just tend to want to get right back underneath the suction cup where you're trying to get a clean suction to. So it is in the tank now. I'm probably going to remove a couple pieces of the slate wood that are in there, and we're going to do some plants. As soon as that gets done, I'll get back and we'll see what the final outlook came to. All right, well, we got the piece of wood set. Got the tank scaped. I did add a bit more sand to the bottom. I think it came out all right. Got no issues with it. It does look good. If you take a look, this part was able to get all the way down into the sand. Now you still can see a little bit of the fishing line on top of that piece of wood. This side, it did not touch all the way. I was planning on building it up, but thought that, you know what, it doesn't bother me that bad. The back is set down all the way into it, so it is holding quite well. Now the other pieces that you see are held in by slate, but the primary purpose of this video was to test and see if suction cups would hold down such a large piece of wood. This piece of wood is approximately 3.5 feet long. This is a 200-gallon, 7-foot by 2-foot by 2-foot tank, so it's a pretty good size piece of wood, and you know, as discussed earlier in the video, it's very hard to get slate on some of these angles and some of these ends that were the ones that were supposed to be down at the bottom. So that's it. Join me next time. We'll be going over some of the tanks, some of the fish that I keep, and filtration systems used. Thanks. All right guys, update on the wood. The two suction cups did hold in the front, but that Frontosa, if anybody's had one, knows they like to dig. Well, he ended up digging up the other suction cup and got it undone, but it stayed down just with those two, so that is a good sign. So the suction cups do work. All right, everyone, that was it for that video. It seems that the suction cups did work. It is a viable source to be able to hold down the wood inside your tank.
So I believe that was an actual positive on the DIY. So we should be good with that. That should be able to stay. I will update people in the video if anything does change on it. As for the next video, probably going to go into tannins in your water, since that tank turned very orange from that piece of wood immediately, and how amazingly enough I was able to clear that up within 24 hours. Stay tuned for that. Thanks everybody. And again, if you like the channel, subscribe. Have a good one.